morning, YouTube. This is me again, Righteous Teacher. And again, I only use that name because I don't want to take responsibility for what I'm sharing on YouTube. This is not, I had to, I made a lot of mistakes in my life that I understand now, with the books that I've read and the studying that I have done. And I just feel like I feel like I have something to share so that people can maybe not make the mistakes that I had to make. So I'm not gonna keep you too long, because another thing I understand that subjects like these are they kind of heavy. They heavy on the mind. I understand it, but I really want to let you know that at some point in time in your life, you're going to have to go through this, because we all have relationships. We all have relationships. And so just getting back to yesterday, where I was talking about, I was breaking down the meaning of breaking up after love, which again means that you're going to have to get rid of things after you fall in love that's going to be damaging the love that you found. And like I said, these things could come from social media. They can come from our parents. They can, family members, things that we've seen. Because as you grow up, you're storing information into your mind. So you don't know what kind of person your child is going to be. A parent really can't say what kind of child they're gonna have until that child grow up. They don't know what they put into that child. They don't know what they did to that child until that child grows up and then moves around, and then you can see, I must have did this or my child. I mean, if you're a responsible parent, then you'll look at your child and you'll say, wow, look at what I did. Whether it's great or whether it's not so good, we as parents, we still have to take responsibility because we raised them. Being that I said that, I'm gonna go, my subject now, I chose out of the Bible, the Holy Bible, and it's called Born in Sin and Shaped in Iniquity. I'm pretty sure y'all all heard of it, Born in Sin, Shaped in Iniquity. I wanna try to get to the bottom of how we, the life that we was born into and the iniquity that we was raised in. So first we're gonna look up sin. Sin is a lack of conformity to, or a transgression, especially when deliberate of a law. A principle regarded as having divine authority, any fault or error, an offense against a standard. This is what sin means. To commit sin is to transgress, neglect or disregard the divine law or any requirement of right, to do wrong. Now, relationships have laws. Relationships have laws. Everything has a law. You go to school, they have laws. If you have a vehicle, they have laws. If you just out here in the street, there's laws out here. And laws help to keep you in line. It helps to keep you, they're actually helping to keep you out of trouble. When you break the law, if you want to park your car anywhere you want to park it, you're breaking the law. So it says here, disregard of divine law or any requirement of right to do wrong. So when you go to school, you have laws. There's a certain time you got to be there. You have to study. You have to read in order to pass the test. So you are following the law. Well, relationships have laws too. Relationships have divine laws. And if you break those laws, that is where the trouble comes in inside of relationships. When you're breaking the law, when you're going according to the law of relationships, everything goes right. Nobody's having any problems. All of a sudden, problems come up. We have to recognize, and we have to see which one of us is breaking the law, which one of us is causing this interruption in our relationships. And we have to love each other enough to want to study self and want to sit down with the person instead of fighting and arguing and everybody saying, no, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. When you got that happening, you got people clashing. Nobody wants to sit down. The person who's doing it may not even know that they're doing it because, again, of the title that I'm calling this one, Born in Sin and Shaped in Iniquity. You see what I'm saying? When you're born in sin, you really have no idea of it. You have no idea what you're being born in. All you know is that you do things this way and you do things that way. And if your parent taught you how to do that, you'll actually think that it's right. Well, this is what my mother told me. This is what my father told me. This is what my aunt told me, my uncle. But they may not have been right because they also was born in sin. They was brought up in a certain kind of environment. We all brought up in a certain kind of environment. Like I said, I know this is a heavy subject, but at some point in time, we're gonna have to sit, and I'd rather you sit now instead of waiting until the end of something, or somebody gets hurt, or somebody gets killed, or, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of that going on today. It's a lot of people being murdered because somebody does not understand what they're doing to the other person. So this is a real subject. And now when we go to iniquity, because it's born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Iniquity means deviation from right, wickedness, gross injustice, a wrongful act. Now we've all had people that have done us wrong, and we have done people wrong. This is something we have to admit. If you want to get to the bottom of the problem, you have to admit it. So you born in sin. Sin is disregard of the divine law. It's born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Iniquity is deviation from right, wickedness, gross injustice, a wrongful act. It's almost every week, almost every day. You can walk by and hear somebody on their phone and they cursing somebody out, or they're trying to tell somebody what they're doing to them, and the other person is not listening because this thing is deep down in the subconscious mind. So when you're born in an environment that has no respect for divine law and raised in iniquity, which is wickedness and gross injustice, you don't even know that you're doing it. You don't even know that it's a part of you. And if you got it directly from your parents, then you're definitely, like, for anybody to try, anybody that I have talked to, and if it's something that their parent taught them, they say the first thing they're gonna do is fight. They're gonna say, oh, what you trying to say? My parent was wrong? What you trying to say? My mother was wrong? My father was wrong? My aunt was wrong? Well, respectfully, and humbly, I have to say yes. There was things my mother taught me, my uncle taught me. There was things I learned from my family members that was not right. I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So when I got into relationships, I was doing things. I did a lot of things. I was doing things that was not right because it's just embedded. You know, most of the times we get angry, we go to that dark place. This is where your sin and your iniquity is. It's in that dark place, a place that you forgot about years ago. And that dark place is usually formed by the age of 9. By the age of 9, that dark place is already formed, and you begin to do things off of that dark place. You began to disrespect relationships. You began to, oh my God, yes. sorry about that interruption. But again, because of that dark place, you begin to do things and you get into relationships. And once you get angry, once somebody makes you mad, you go to that dark place without even knowing it. It's the first place you run to. We rarely ever get angry and say, well, I'm gonna do better. I'm mad and I'm angry, but I'm gonna do better. I'm sad, but I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna read more. I'm gonna love the person I'm with more. I'm gonna learn how to love the person I'm with more. We don't get angry and do that. 9 times out of 10, we get angry and we do what is inside of our subconscious mind in our darkness, and then we'll blame the person that we are with. We'll blame the person that we are with. And if we have been in two, and many of us have been in 2 or 3 relationships already, maybe more. And you have to understand, when every single time you get into this relationship, this new person is now telling you the same thing as the last person did, and the person before him or her did. We tend to want to say, well, no, there's something wrong with them. But if this pattern, we all have these defects that create patterns. And if this pattern, if you know that, if you understand, should I say, that this pattern is following you, then, and you listening to the people that you have been in relationships with, you saying, hold up, wait, you now will say, hold up, wait a minute, let me think, because these people are telling me the same thing. And I know it's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. But I'm saying that we was born in sin and shaped in iniquity, and there is a dark place inside of us. Now it's up to us to go into that dark place. Because again, we've all been wrong. We've all committed a wrongful act towards somebody, and we all had somebody commit a wrongful act towards us. If that is happening, you got to know that that is iniquity. Now that person has to go back into how they were raised, and they have to find out, and they have to be truthful. One of the most truthfulest things, one of the most truth that one can ever go through in their life is looking back at their parents, looking back at their elders and say, let me really study lovingly. I love my mother. My mother passed away when I was 18 years old. I love her. But I had to go back and I had to look at things to see where I got the traits, where I got the patterns. I had to go back. I love my mother. I'm not disrespecting her. She did great. She was the greatest woman in the world to me. But I could show her the highest love and the highest respect by going back and finding out what she did wrong to me. This will help me to fix myself, to correct myself, and also to correct my children. And also that I don't get into another relationship and hurt the person all over again with the same hurt that I hurt the last few people that I've been in a relationship with. Or if you are in an existing relationship, you can begin to correct things. So I can treat the person better now than I did people in my past. So, as I said, I'm not gonna keep you long. I know this is a heavy subject, but we all have to, one day you're gonna have to. If you really love the person that you with, if you're really happy that you are with the person that you are with now, but you see flaws, first of all, you have to find a way. You got to correct yours first, whether it's the male or the female. Whichever one in the relationship says, okay, I'm learning about this, that one has to go first. You can't expect the person that you're with to go first. You're getting the understanding. You're learning about it right now. So you have to go first. You can't say, well, I'm not doing it because they're not doing it. Well, that's where you are going to have to go in to your dark place, because it's actually your dark place that's stopping you from doing it, and now you're using someone else again to continue the actions that you know are wrong against the person that you are with. See, it's not your fault. This world have, I mean, you look at television, you go on the YouTube, you go on social media, and again, if you walk around, you can hear somebody on the phone, on the bus, on the train, cursing out the person that they with. Now they may be the one transgressing, or they may be the one being transgressed upon. But you could see the pain. You could feel the pain. And here's another thing. If you're so in love with the person that you are with, why is it when they tell you that you're doing something to them? Why is it when you see the pain on their face, why that pain don't get to you? Why that pain don't make you say, wow, dang, you know what I'm saying? I see the person I'm with, they over here crying, they going crazy at me. That means something. That means that you're doing something. But if your heart is so in love, that pain that you see on the person you with, you would say to yourself, you know what? Let me think. Let me stop, because I love this person. I love this person. They're in pain. Let me stop. Let me analyze. Let me see what it is that I am doing. Instead of coming right out and saying, oh, you always say that. Well, the person is always saying you doing it because we was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. It's not your fault. I'm going to say it again. It's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. You had nothing to do with your birth. You had nothing to do with how you were raised. I'm taking, the blame is being taken off of you. So don't feel bad. Just say to yourself, it's time to make a change. When are you going to do it? Before what? Before what happens? You could go on on social media today. You could go on the news. Somebody is always being murdered. Some man is always murdering some woman. Some woman is always murdering some man. Now, I don't think it shouldn't go that far. It shouldn't go that far. If it's that deep, you need to get out. If the person that you are with is not, if they're continuing to do the same thing over and over and over and over to you, and it is wickedness, it is disregard for the divine law, and they are hurting your mind, they're hurting your brain, and they have no regard for it, then yeah, before you go to any other lengths, before you go out and you start cheating and you start doing wrong or you kill them, you need to get out. That I would say you need to get out of, because that person is just not listening. I guess that depends on how many years y'all been together and you've been trying. You've been trying. You got the female, she tries to help. You got the male, he tries to help. Somebody is always trying to help somebody before in their mind they say, you know what? Enough is enough. I can't take it. This is why I'm talking about breaking up after love. Because we are born in sin and shaped in iniquity, which is unfair, gross behavior. Unfair, gross behavior. We have all had to deal with that. That's why you have to, when you come into the knowledge of what's really going on inside you and you begin to study you now have to sit down with the person that you with immediately, because y'all really should be changing together. Y'all really should be watching this together. Y'all really should be studying this together. You should be showing this to the person that you with, to say, listen to what he's saying. Like, he don't know me, he don't know you. He just know that we're going through trouble because he's going through it too. Yeah, it's not over for me. I'm going through it too. That's what kind of world we live in. It's a problematic world. We have all these defects, especially when you go to the DNA. When you go to the DNA and you look at and you study deoxyribonucleic acid, you see that it holds information. The DNA, when the DNA from the man, the DNA from the woman, they come together, they make a child. Whatever is their iniquity, whatever they was raised in, whatever wicked or evil practices they was raised in, that child is going into that child and making that child up. So that child is born in sin. And then once they're born, we begin to shape them in iniquity because we don't know what we're doing. This stuff just comes out of us like a trigger at the drop of a dime. We have triggers, things that, that bring these things out of us, where we'll wind up doing you wrong. Somebody could do you wrong right in front of your face and say that they didn't do it, because they're not even aware of it. This is how deep it is. But we have to study self. We have to study our parents. We gotta see, so we can stop hurting the person that we with, and the person that, yes, just like that. We could stop hurting the person that we with and the person that we are with. Sorry about that. Sorry about that again. I'm trying to get used to this. My paper's blowing all over the place. But I think I got I believe I got the message across. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for giving me some of your time. And I pray that you get something from it so that you and the person that you with can have a beautiful life together. Because I know people don't believe it. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. It is true. It can happen. It can happen. You just got to do the work. Peace and blessings to you. May you have a beautiful day. And see you next time.